What's going on, everybody? My name's Darby Weiss. This is the Iron Emporium Royal Winner Show.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Darby Weiss. This is the Iron Emporium. Welcome back. So last week there was no show at all. I am sorry for that. It was, well, quite frankly, my wife and I had. So my wife runs a business, right? And she had a list of things she needed help with, and I was like, you know what? That business is absolutely imperative that we succeed with that. I mean, it's not. It's not like we ride or die on that. But to me, supporting her in her business is absolutely one of the most important things in my life. So I said, you know what? The show can wait because this is important. So that's what we did last week. We worked on all her projects, got a bunch of stuff ready to go, and you know what? We're ready for our farmers market tomorrow, and can't wait. We can't be more excited for it. So anyway, that's why there was no show last week. Then this week, so actually tomorrow, well today, my parents are coming into town for the weekend. They're going to help us with the farmers market, some other stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm recording on Saturday. And you know what? I actually really don't mind this. I kind of like this whole get done with the gym first thing in the morning, come in here, jump right into recording. And this is kind of nice. I like it. The Saturday deal is kind of cool. Anyway, so a couple other things real quick. I got to give a quick shout out to a gentleman that I work with who the other day, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago now. I was going to say this last week, but obviously I didn't record last week, so that didn't work out so well. But a couple weeks ago, a gentleman that I work with came up to me and he said, "Hey, buddy, I listened to your podcast. That was pretty all right." And I didn't really say anything about it. I didn't really acknowledge. I mean, I acknowledged it, of course, because that would be rude to the whatever dude. But I was like, man, I appreciate that. But you know what? I want to make it publicly known. Mr. Mike, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this podcast. Whether or not I know you're not a gym bro, so obviously you're not listening to this for the pure motivation. But you know what? It helps me out. And it's, to some extent, it's a boost of confidence. So, Mike, I appreciate you, buddy. I really do. It means a lot to me that somebody outside of my, direct circle is actually involved in this. So thanks, bud. Number two, so when I was a teenager, and this kind of goes into what I'm talking about today. That's why I wanted to bring this up. So when I was a teenager, I had this dream. So I loved physical media, and I still do to this day. I mean, I've got a vinyl collection. I'm big into the vinyl scene. But when I was a teenager, I loved reading magazines, like Alternative Press, Splat Paintball. Oh man, I can't think of there were a couple that I was really big into that were, about, metal and rock and stuff like that. I just loved reading actual physical media. And to this day, I still definitely prefer to read actual physical books over reading on your phone or on a Kindle. I have a Kindle, I have my phone, but I've got a stack of books over here because I like physical media. So anyway, I had a dream, I guess. Someday I wanted to be a journalist. Someday I wanted to write articles for a magazine or for a newspaper or something like that, right? And that never really came to be. Then I joined the Marine Corps, and that dream kind of died. It kind of went away. It wasn't a priority, so I let it go, and I didn't think anything of it. And 10, 12, probably 13 years later, I'm 30 years old now, and I think the last time I really considered this, I was probably 17. So yeah, probably 12, 13 years on, something like that. I joined the Marine Corps, went through that, been married twice now, and that dream had kind of died. I had kind of let it go. Well, then an opportunity about 2 weeks back presented itself. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, would you be interested in writing for me?" Because I had mentioned it, off the cuff once before to him. But he remembered. And honest to God, I'd kind of forgotten about it. I just kind of mentioned it. It'd be cool if you need anything, you need a blog post or something like that. I'd write for you if you decide to go down that road. And that was it. That was that. I never thought anything would come of it. Well, here we are. 2 weeks go by, and he comes to me and he says, "Hey, bud, would you you still interested in writing for me, for writing for the website?" I was like, "Well, shit, yeah." So all that to say, I finally got that little bit of dream job, right? I mean, it's not a job. I don't get paid for it. I don't, and I don't want to. I want to just do it because it's fun, because it's something I enjoy doing, because it's something I always wanted to do. And now that the opportunity has presented itself, I'm going to get to do. And that's huge to me. And, it was one of those things that was so off the cuff. It was so unexpected that it showed up like that. I hadn't pursued it. I hadn't thought anything of it. It was purely a mention several weeks, probably a month ago or more now. And then all of a sudden, here's this opportunity. I'm like, fuck, opportunity knocks, you better answer the goddamn door. Because guess what? Now I'm getting to write. I mean, yeah, sure, I write for my little blog that I run, if you ever are interested in checking out my journey into alcohol, because, for 30 years I never drank, and now all of a sudden I, have a bar in my house. I have a blog called The Inexperienced Drinker, and it's just me journeying through alcohol, and it's fun, but it's for me. It's I write it for myself. There's nothing interesting really about it. But the opportunity presented itself to write for somebody else who has a website that posts articles on it, and now I get to be a part of that. Hell yeah, I want that opportunity. So guess what? Now I'm writing for somebody else. And that, when they came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" there was zero hesitation. Absolutely, I want to do that. So all that to say, when the opportunity is there, when the opportunity knocks, keep those dreams in the back of your mind, even if you have to shut them down for a little while. Because guess what? That opportunity may come again. And if you put yourself in the right position and it shows up, you better answer that call. So anyway, enough with all that. Let's jump into the show, all right? So this is going to be a little bit of probably a shorter show than usual, so I don't want to rant too long. But you know what? Here's what the show's about today. Stop thinking like a competitor. Stop thinking like a competitor and start thinking like a champion. So often, we get in this mindset of, I'm competing. I'm getting ready to compete. I'm competing with myself. I'm competing with other people. I'm competing with my classmates, with my work, coworkers. So often we get in this competitor mindset. And that's fine. That's fine. If you want to be a competitor, that's fine. Be a competitor. But if you want to be a champion, if you want to stand above, if you want to stand apart, then you got to start thinking apart. You got to start thinking. You got to start thinking like a champion, because only when you start thinking like a champion and stop thinking like a competitor will you actually start winning. And I don't care what it's in. If you want to be the top of your class because you're in a college course or something like that, you want to be number one, you can't think like your classmates. You have to think like you're number one. You have no choice. You have no choice but to be number one. You have the drive, you have the will. Now start having the mental fortitude to be number one. You want to compete in bodybuilding or strongman? You want to be the champion? Arnold Schwarzenegger never thought to himself, I wanted to be a competitor. He said, I want to be Mr. Olympia. I want to be the best in the world. And that's what it takes. That's the mindset it takes. It takes thinking like you are the best in the world to actually accomplish being the best in the world. Stop thinking like a competitor. Start thinking like a champion. Stop thinking like you are there with everybody else. You are not there with everybody else. You need to elevate yourself. If everybody's here, you need to be up here. If everybody's thinking at this level, you need to be thinking at this level. So often, we get so caught up on the rat race on the being snagged right along with everybody else. We get so caught up in staying with the crowd that we stop elevating ourselves. Start elevating your mindset. Once you start elevating your mindset, man, the places you can go, the things you can experience, the growth that you can achieve, there's no better way. There's no better thought process. I swear. I stopped the other day, so I stopped myself, and that's when this idea came to me. It was, I want to say, last week. Yeah, it was last week. I've been thinking a lot about my recovery. You know, I broke my hand, and I was out of the gym, and I was like, all right, I need to focus on recovery. I need to focus on, and for the last 2 months now, something like that, I've been really focused on, making sure I've got good form and I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to do anything that would, and I still don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to kill myself. All right. But I was so focused on thinking like I was recovering. My lifts weren't improving. I wasn't seeing any sort of physical improvement. I wasn't seeing any sort of weight improvement. I wasn't seeing any improvement. A couple of weeks ago, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, I went into the gym and it was back. I was doing deadlifts and I was working lower back real hard. And I got into my about third or fourth set on deads. And I was like, why am I always? Because I was like, I won't go heavy. I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna try too hard. I'm not gonna, overextend myself. And then all of a sudden I was like, fuck it. Stop thinking like a competitor. Stop thinking like you're still recovering. You had fucking weeks of recovery, weeks of time. You had the time to recover. Now it's time to fucking grind. Now it's time to push. So what did I do? Loaded some fucking weight on the bar, stopped thinking like I was still weak, and started actually deadlifting. Man, it felt great. Since that deadlift day, I have pushed harder in the last 2 weeks, and I have seen more results in the last 2 weeks in terms of weight, good form, just solid lifts in the gym. I have seen better work performance, like in my actual job, better performance. I literally didn't realize how badly I was stabbing myself in the back by thinking like I was recovering. I stopped thinking like I was recovering. I stopped thinking like I was just getting there. And I started thinking like a damn champion. And now I'm making gains. I'm making strides. And that's what I'm telling you, you need to start doing. You need to stop thinking start thinking like a champion. If it takes sitting down one day with a piece of paper and a pen and writing down what being a champion means to you, then sit down with that piece of paper and that pen and start writing down what it means to be a champion to you. I'm so tired of people saying, well, I have these things I want to accomplish. I have these goals in mind, but I've been working hard for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I'm just not getting any closer to it. Have you been thinking like a competitor for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years? Or have you been thinking like a champion for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years? Because if you're thinking like a competitor, guess what? You're only ever gonna compete. You're never going to win. You're never going to set yourself apart. You're never going to be more than the baseline. Stop being the damn baseline. Stop being at the bottom. Stop just achieving and start actually winning. You can achieve all day long in whatever aspect, whether it be work, school, gym, play, home life, whatever. You can achieve. You can. because achieving just means you have gotten there, right? You've done the thing. You have achieved an end game, right? What does it mean to actually win? What does it mean to actually be a champion? What does it mean to actually excel? Stop just achieving and start excelling, right? And that might be counterintuitive, right? Isn't achieving the same thing? No, not in my eyes. What I was doing in the gym every day was achieving. I was achieving getting there. I was achieving making sure that my lifts were good, that I was safe, that I was recovering, quote unquote. If you're just listening to this, I threw up the big air quotes. Stop thinking like a competitor. It's imperative. It is imperative that you don't think like everybody else. If you want to stand apart, then think apart. Everybody else is so focused on getting through the day, on getting through the week, on getting through the month, on getting through their bullshit, and they're not ever excelling in anything because all they want to do is just get through it. They just want to achieve the end of the day and go to bed and wake up and do it all again tomorrow. The rat race. Stop being a part of it. Stop being a part of that negative, stupid bullshit because it's doing nothing for you. It's doing nothing to excite you. It's doing nothing to bring you something else. All it's doing is shooting you in the foot and cutting you short. It's cutting you short. And it's so tiresome. And it becomes so cumbersome. Why are you letting yourself never excel? And that's the thing. It's not the people around you, right? It's not who you surround yourself with that's not letting you excel. It's not letting you be a champion. No, fuck them. It is what you are doing, how you are thinking, how you are focused. If you are focused on your end goal, if you are focused on achieving and excelling and accelerating past just making do, just making it through the day, then you'll actually get somewhere. Then you'll actually do something. Man, I get so tired of listening to people, complain about how they're not getting anything done, how they're not doing anything with their day. They're just going to work, coming home, going to the gym. Like, are you seeing any progress? Or are you just competing every day? Are you just competing? Are you comfortable just being a competitor? Are you comfortable just being in among the pack, in with the crowd? Fuck, I'm not. It drives me nuts to just be a part of the crowd, to just be part of the rat race. Because guess what? They're moving too fucking slow. I got shit to do. I got things to do. I got gains to get. I've got work to be done. And I've got a fucking life to win at. I get so sick and tired of people always just existing. And that's what the competitor mindset will get you. I'm not saying you can't just go full force 100% of the time. No, we have to rest. That is just the simple fact of the matter. We have to rest. We are human beings, and it's unfortunate. But make your rest worth it. Make your days worth it. There's 24 hours in the day. If you're wasting a single hour of that not being a champion, get the fuck out of the way because I don't have time for you. I do not have time for you. My wife out there right now, she is achieving something. She is making her dream of her business thriving. She's making that happen. Because she has a mindset. She may not acknowledge it. That's just because she doesn't have the words to put it two and two together. You know what you need to do. You know what it takes. Why are you shooting yourself in the foot day in and day out? Why? Why are you shooting yourself in the foot with this bullshit excuse of, well, I gotta start somewhere? You already fucking started. Bro, what the fuck? You already started. Stop saying, I gotta start somewhere. Stop saying that shit. It's worthless. If you're already thinking about it, then you've already started. It's too late to use that excuse. Stop competing all the time. Stop competing with people around you. Stop competing with your coworkers. Stop competing with yourself. Stop competing with people in class. And start winning. Start being a fucking champion. Start standing apart. Start standing up for yourself. And that's another thing. I'll get into that another day. But man, stop being a fucking doormat. Stop sitting back and being a damn doormat. It's irritating. Start thinking apart. Start thinking apart from other people. Start thinking apart from the rat race. Start thinking apart from what makes everybody else equal. If you want to win, if you want to be a champion, if you want to achieve, if you want to actually be on top for once in your life, then you can't think like everybody else. You can't think like the pack. If you want to be alpha, you have to be number one. If you want to be out there in front, if you want to be... Now, okay, I got it. Maybe you don't want to be out in front. Then why are you here? Why are you listening to this? Because we don't have time for that. If you have the mentality of a champion, if you have the mentality of a winner, of somebody who excels, I say it all the time. Stop surviving. Stop surviving in your life. Stop surviving in class. Stop just scraping by. Stop surviving at your job. If it sucks, make it better. Go somewhere else. Find something new. Stop surviving in the gym. Just, going, doing your reps, getting the workout done, hitting the bench once a week on Monday. Stop surviving and start thriving. That's what it takes. That's the champion mindset that I'm talking about. You cannot, no matter your surroundings, no matter your situation, you cannot survive. You cannot survive. You cannot be in that mental state of pure, unadulterated survival, where you're just clawing your way through everything every day. And let's say you're in class, right? Let's say you're in college or even high school. Maybe I've got some high schoolers out there that are listening to this. Are you just scraping by? Are you just doing the bare minimum to make sure that you get the grade so your scholarship stays, so your coursework doesn't get worse? Are you just scraping by, doing the bare minimum, surviving? And you'll hear it all the time. People survived college. No, not good enough. Not good enough. It shouldn't be good enough. It's not for me. Surviving at my job, that's what I was doing when I first started. Surviving at my job wasn't good enough for me. I had to thrive. I had to be good. I had to do better. I had to make it where instead of dreading, instead of that pure dread of having to go to work every day, I could thrive in my workplace. Instead of surviving, instead of just doing the bare minimum to get by, stop. If you're in class and you're just doing the bare minimum to get through class, stop. Just quit. Because there is no room, there should be no room in your life for survival. Survival is when you're lost in the woods with nothing and you have to survive to come out on the other side. But what do? You only survive for the bare minimum amount of time, and then you start thriving. Sure, it takes some struggle to get in. It takes some struggle to start. It takes some struggle to get through that initial phase, that initial survival. I get it. I get it. But once you're through that initial, that Okay, it's near the beginning. Right now it's the 15th of January, according to my calendar. So we're still in that beginning of the year, right? We just passed New Year's. Just past New Year's. What's that mean? That means you got all these people that are just, they're trying to get their New Year's resolutions right. They're trying to get into the gym, and I hate New Year's resolutioners. I hate that idea. But you know what? If that's what it's taking for you to get there, then get there. If that's what it takes, get there. Struggle through, survive the first couple of weeks, but now after the 15th of the month, the 15th of January, you have no more time to struggle. Now you need to start thriving. Now there is no more survival. You're there. You've made it. Now it's time to stop trying to compete. If you're in the gym and you're just getting there and you're just trying hard, I just got to get to the gym today. I'm making good on my resolutions. Stop just making good. Quit that shit. Quit that survival attitude, that competitor mentality, and start that thriving attitude, that champion mentality. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to get through life, through the gym, through college, through high school, through work every day. Look, I work 5 days a week, long ass days, right? A lot of times they're 10, 12, sometimes longer. You look at a 12-hour workday where I work outside. I mean, some of it's physical labor, some of it's mental labor. Cool, got it. I got it. If you are doing nothing but surviving through that, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn out. That's just the way it is. A lot of times when people are put into bad situations, and I'm talking like actual, like caught in the woods survival situations, right? They struggle. That it tears them down. It's mentally challenging. It's mentally taxing. It's physically challenging. It's physically taxing. But the ones who come out, the ones who make it to the other side, stop thinking like a survivor. And they start thinking like their environment. They start thinking like champions, like winners. They stop saying, I hope I get through this. And they start saying, I will get through this. They stop hoping and they start achieving. You have to stop hoping your dreams will just come to fruition. And you have to start achieving. Now, that's why I told the story about journalism earlier. My dreams, right? That dream died for me. That dream died. It was gone. It was nothing. It didn't do anything. It sat there on the back burner for 13 fucking years. It sat there and it stewed in the back of my mind, and I always played around with different things to make it happen. But it never happened because I never pushed. Now I have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to do a little bit of journalism. Not like investigative journalism, not anything that's actually difficult. But I have a chance to submit articles to a publication who is going to then publish them on their publicly accessible website. So anybody who gets on there can see my work. What do you do in that situation? Do you just do the bare minimum? Do you just do the bare minimum so when people look at what I wrote, it's just is? Or do you go above and beyond? Do you try and get a good format, good composition? That you cannot think like a survivor. You cannot think like you're just competing every day, or you will only ever just compete. Get it out of your mind. Get it out of your mind that you're competing against anything or anybody. Stop thinking like a competitor and start thinking like a champion. because that's what it takes. Never heard some of the greatest bodybuilders in the world think that they were competing. They all already know they're champions. They just have to put in the work. You just have to put in the work. I just have to put in the work. They just have to put in the work. If you are willing to put in the work, if you're willing to put in the drive and the time and the pain and the blood, sweat, tears, whatever it takes, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to think like a champion, you're willing to think like a winner, then you will win. You will achieve. You will set yourself apart. That's what it takes. That's what I hope you can take away from this. Thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. If you enjoy this, check it out. I'm on YouTube and Spotify now. I'm trying to get up on Apple, and I'm trying to get up on Google Podcasts. So I've got some things in the work, trying to reach out a little bit more. Run over to Spotify if you got Spotify. Give me a follow over there. It helps me out. Not that I get paid or anything like that, but it does help out a little bit. Hit like and subscribe on freaking YouTube, whatever it's called. Yeah, that. Do all the things that all the other YouTubers ask you to do. Like, subscribe, comment, share the show with your friends, all that bullshit. But most importantly, if you take nothing else from this, stop thinking like a competitor. Stop thinking like you're part of the rat race. Start standing apart. Start doing more for yourself. Start thinking like a champion. Stop surviving. Stop surviving. Stop doing the bare minimum and start thriving. Get out there. Get after it. I hope you all have a great day. Do something new today. All right. Explore some new thoughts, some new activity. Just do something for yourself. All right. And then do something for everybody else around you. And then when you go to work on Monday, or maybe you work on Sunday and you go to work on Sunday, or maybe you're already at work, have a good day at work. All right. Stop surviving in your workplace. Start thriving. If you've got class on Monday, well, actually, take that back. Monday's a holiday, isn't it? You guys don't have class. Oh, lucky you, lucky you. When you go back to class on Tuesday, then stop doing the bare minimum. Stop surviving. Stop scraping by. Start thriving. Start thinking like a champion, because if you think like a competitor, that's all you'll ever be. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, stay motivated.